Table tennis world. I am back with a quick update. I, when I was thinking about how I was going to preface this conversation, I wasn't sure if it was necessary to put it under BP Reloaded. But since I started this conversation with BP Reloaded, I'm going to finish. I'm going to finish it with BP Reloaded. When I first created Dynamic Table Tennis, there was a little bit of a buzz because I gave a nugget to the table tennis world. I gave you some insight to how the table tennis business works. You guys already know about the table tennis profession. I can coach, I can play, I can run tournaments, but the table tennis business is more willing and dealing. So given that nugget was really, it was an eye-opener for a lot of people. I got a lot of just response backs to people that just didn't understand that the table tennis world worked that way. Go to bed or whatever, but just giving you the inside, of how everything happened. And with the case of me leaving Pong Nation, if you look at how I positioned it, it was very user friendly. It was a really like abridged version. I didn't get into any details, but they didn't terminate me. I walked away from them. And the only reason that I'm coming back now is because behind the scenes, Pong Nation is throwing me under the bus. And here's a perfect example. I had a friend call me to say, I was offered a sponsorship deal, and the first thing he did was let me know that you guys had a falling out over the video and you're no longer with the company, and that they need to, quote, I got the email, they need to be careful about who they put on their team. All right, let's talk a little bit about that statement. The one thing that I know I have in the sport is credibility. The person that made that statement left the sport in 1989, and 21 years later, that person is back. So between me and him, I'm the person that has credibility, and what's, unfair is, if you're going to go to your website and say, where's Brian? And then when you click on that post, it says, we wish Brian all the best. Don't go behind the scenes and try to throw me under the bus, because enough people are going to hear this the way it's going to come back, and it's going to be so far ahead of me, it's going to seem like I'm the one that's incompetent. I left the company, and I'll explain why. Listen, this wasn't really a bad thing. It's just business. Listen, the butterfly thing I took personal because the owner taught me how to play. That's personal. This wasn't even personal. It wasn't personal enough for me to even go and talk about it. It was just a big weight lifted off my shoulders. And I'll explain how it's just business, and you really don't get offended until you do something to where my personal friend, I know this guy's mom, I know his brother, I know his sister. I mean, his sister fine. I've traveled the planet with this person. And what the guy at Pong Nation doesn't know is that we're really good friends. So he knows my integrity. You can't throw me under the bus to one of my personal friends and think they're not going to contact me first. So here's how business just, this is how it works. With regards to the equipment, I'm looking at my credibility. So the equipment is not bad. It's garbage. It's garbage. It's terrible. So I said, okay, for credibility's sake, I can't be with this company for the equipment. And I asked, I said, take back half your money, let me use whatever I want, and I still wear your clothes. So you still get some of the title sponsoring because I'm wearing your clothes, but the equipment is awful. So I said, I'm going to lose credibility if I'm out there trying to hype up this equipment. So that's the first way that the deal goes bad, but there's still wiggle room to be with the company. Now let's look at videos. What I did with videos is on par with what I did for Butterfly. I did 200 videos for Butterfly. They never ever complained about one video. They said this is high quality content. They never say anything to me. Same thing that I did for Noogie. Same thing I did for Fast Paddle. To me, those are reputable companies with credibility. They've been in the sport a long time. So I come to Pong Nation and I put out a group of videos. The videos are not even good. I mean, like, they were presented to me like they were terrible. So it wasn't anything to where I had any kind of personal offense. I wasn't offense. Okay, if you think that these aren't good, then we don't have a deal, because this is on par with what I did with everybody else. So there was really there was no conflict. Now, where the deal broke down, I said in the last video, is over intellectual property. Now, the owner of the owner of Pong Nation came to me last year, 5 or 6 months, stayed in town, picked my brain, asked me for all of these ideas. If you were going to do this, what would you do? What would you do? So he basically picked my brain, and what I did is I told him about one of the really most important videos that I want to do. It's called Shadow Training for Table Tennis. And if you go back to March, when I put out Advanced Training for Table Tennis, I talk about that video extensively. This is going to be one of my great videos because it helps people develop table tennis based cardio. Now, that's last year in the spring. He picks my brain, goes back to New York. This deal's probably already in place, because now it makes sense that he was asking me all of these ideas. He comes back and he says, we want to do something called Shadow Pong. Okay, I don't say anything. We want to take it to Lifetime Fitness as a workout routine. Okay, we want you to create this and certify people. Sounds like my intellectual property has been eaten up by them and regurgitated back like it's theirs. I don't say anything yet because I know that I have the internal organs and they don't have anything close to a skeleton. So we get to the 11th hour, and I get on the computer with one of the partners that's some personal injury lawyer. This the guy, have you been in an accident? He sold me like that, like he was trying to sell me on my own sport. And I say shadow training. No, shadow pong, shadow pong, shadow pong. I'm trying to put words in my mouth. I'm the table tennis professional here. You're just a guy that's willing to sell anything. So they say, we need you to create this. We need you to create a curriculum. You need to take your videos and split them up and create different workout programs. We're going to call it Shadow Pong. It's going to be Pong Cardio and Pong Fitness and Pong Advance and all of these different workouts. Okay. So at this point, I'm doing all the work. I'm doing all the work. Okay, so we get to 11th hour, and it's like we're about to move forward. And I had already told the owner, this a different deal. This ain't a Brian Pace sponsored by you deal, nor is this a video deal. This is a different deal, because what you did was I told you something in confidence, and you took it and tried to give it back to me like it's yours. So what I said is, okay, if we want to move on this, let's write a contract before I submit anything else. I want 25%, and I'm not negotiating. Because what I know is that 100% of this is my intellectual property, and it was stolen from me in confidence. So I said, okay, great. My wife is sitting right there, and she says, you should have asked for more. And I said, no. If they're going to do the heavy lifting, they know how to go out and have this cross-promoted in Lifetime Fitness, and they can get it in the ground roots level. Give them the most of the work. Give them most of the work, and then give them most of the money. This is on a Saturday. We come back on Monday, and the guy's furious. I can't have 25%. I thought right at this point, I own 100%. So we're negotiating over something that it's not even good. And the position that was used is that your videos aren't good. The videos are your material. If Pilot Power is a sucky rubber, don't expect me to do a fantastic review on it. I'm just telling you what the rubber is. It's not my job to go out and sell my ass so that your rubber is found out to not be good and I lose credibility. So I said, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to tell the people what it is. But you can't preface your product and try to say that you want to negotiate a percentage on my product, because we don't have a deal. So on that alone, see, I could have not took the video deal. I don't have to do it. I could have not took the play deals. Those were the two easiest things for me to do. Based on my credibility, I walked away from that. But the Shadow Pong thing, it's going to be a fad. It's not going to be here in 10 years. It's going to come in, it's going to make a lot of money on the front end, and they're going to look for something else. It's a fad. So what they want to do is take it and try to say that it's theirs. So it's not theirs. So this Shadow Pong thing, is a creation of shadow training for table tennis. So if you see people in Lifetime Fitness doing all this playing, they're not going to look like geniuses. They're going to look like thieves. And that's the only reason I'm saying this, because behind my back, I'm being trashed. But on the website, we wish Brian all the best. You're going to my peers and you're throwing me under the bus. Now listen, I don't doubt that whoever the owner is, he has some type of bravado. Maybe he's been in the corporate world. You know, from my dealings with him, it doesn't seem like it, because I get text messages at midnight. I need to talk to you. And I'm like, I'm laying naked beside my wife. I don't want to talk right now. And he says, put on your clothes, let's talk. Whoever the guy is, he's used to getting what he wants. He has a certain amount of arrogance and bravado, but that doesn't get you credibility. The 21 years that person has been gone is how I earned credibility. And you earn credibility by being honest with your community. So I walk away from this deal because I'm more concerned about my credibility, because that dynamic table tennis is already a company. And you can't have credit for Pong Nation if you got 0 followers on Twitter. If you got 1 follower on Twitter and it's you. Listen, my name has been dragged through the mud just because their website didn't launch. And then the website launches, and to this day, right now, I think it's August 6th. If you go to the website, and let's say you don't like the rubber, but you want to give it a try, you buy Autopilot Power. You know what's going to happen? When you get to that, you're not going to be able to order a color. These are a bunch of people that have arrogance, that have bravado, but aren't organized and don't have credibility. So it's easy for me to walk away and just says, I don't want to have to deal with my name being dragged through the mud by a company that looks like a bunch of amateurs. You know, so after this, the phone conversation, my buddy called me and said, look, this guy's throwing you under the bus. I'm not going to take the deal from him. I know you. And what he did was to try to position himself to look better. He tried to trash you. I know you personally, Brian. That's why I came to you. So I'm not going to take the deal. And whatever you say on YouTube, send me the link. He needs to know that these table tennis professionals, we're on the same page. And I said, well, you know, I've already committed to this world-class training program to try to make the Olympic team. So what I'm going to do is show my credibility and land another sponsor. Right now, I'm negotiating with another sponsor, a much heavier hitter, somebody that you guys will know and respect. And when that deal goes through, it'll be a soft sale. I'll just let you know, and I won't try to make it seem like it's going to be the next grandiose thing. So I wanted to go ahead and get ahead of this thing with Pong Nation, because so much is being said behind the scenes. I didn't say anything behind the scenes because there was really no conflict. Okay, the rubber's not good, I can't use it. The videos aren't what the client wants, so I don't take it. Okay, well, we don't have a deal. This is what I know how to do. If a person told you, you play like Timo Bowl, and you had a nice 1952 rating, you would say, that ain't gonna happen. That's how I felt about these deals. And then when you take my product, you steal it in confidence and try to regurgitate it, call it shadow pong, take it to Lifetime Fitness and try to get me to do everything and tell me I'm not even entitled to 25%, we don't have a deal. So tell me who has credibility. I live in the sport of table tennis. And the only reason that I exist is because I have credibility. So if all of this stuff wouldn't be happening behind the scenes, then I wouldn't even give me this golden nugget. What I did in 2009 was so intense with Butterfly that I took a year off from saying anything intense. You know, and that's what happens in the business of table tennis. It's just you have deals that work and you have deals that don't work. This is just a deal that didn't work. Listen, I've walked away from some deals. I walked away from North American table tennis. I'm sure had I stayed and kind of found my place, I probably could have found a place there. You know, I mean, there's people there that have way less credibility than me, and I know I offer more. It's just I wanted to have my own company. You know, I worked for Butterfly twice. People don't know that. I went in 2006, bad job. I went back to South Florida. I went to school for video. I came back offering them a job. This is the job that I'm giving you. I'm creating this job for you guys. You know, there's a guy that I was working with on the West Coast, and we were supposed to. He has this product that's similar to that European like return board, and he wants me to be the training person behind it and like the marketing person. You know, the deal didn't go through. It's no sweat off my back. With all those companies, the parting of ways has been professional. You know, I mean, for me, I walked away from North American Television. I was like, yeah, I'd rather do it myself, and that's what I've done. So I'm giving you this nugget just because if I don't say something, it's going to eventually get back. It's going to eventually get back that this thing is a conflict and A, B, C, and D. So if I go ahead and tell my community that I have credibility with, I don't want to lie to you. I've been honest with you. Now you're going to know my side of the story. When I told my side of the story with Butterfly, Butterfly never responded. The owner of the company just didn't say anything to me. We're personal friends. We live in the same hometown. He didn't say anything to me. He just let it ride. I don't know if he saw it. I don't know if he didn't. But he didn't say anything to me because I was not lying. Now, on this one, it may be a little bit different. So I'm going to throw you a bone. If I get a phone call, I'm going to hit speaker, and I'm going to use that camera, and I'm going to click record. Whatever that's said that's so stupid is going back on YouTube. If I get an email, I'll show you the email. I have no reason to lie to you. I have no reason to mislead you because without you guys, without my community, I don't have credibility. So this is Brian signing off, and trust me, this will be the last time that I talk about this. Because if I threaten to show the emails that show how incompetent that person is, then they probably would never have any followers on Twitter. They sit on a 0 right now, but they will have no followers on Twitter at all. So I just want to get that out of the way because it's the business of table tennis, and sometimes I give a nugget, but I can't give it to you every year. I give it to you every other year. This is BP Reloaded. Peace.